the first time I've been associated with this, and let me tell you, it's quite impressive. Thank you for not giving me an instrument. I don't belong using any musical instruments or singing whatsoever. But hopefully I can tell a story or two. So this is truly a great honor for me. So thank you for allowing me to speak today. Congratulations to all of the students. And I did give handouts to as many people as I could. If you did not get the handout, I have plenty more, so afterwards, if you'd like a handout, please feel free to take one. I have 5 minutes today to talk about one word, and that very important word is success. Now at MIPA, we study success, just like an academic subject. You take English in school, and math, and history, and science, and art. We're in the art museum, so I should mention art as a subject. But unfortunately, you don't go to third period success. You go to third period English, and that's fine. English is important. All those subjects are important. But I think a lot of lessons can be learned by studying success as a subject. And if I could wave my magic wand, every student in America would take a class called success. So what we've done in MIPA is we've studied success. And you study success by looking at the stories of people that have been successful. Ball players, artists, ballerinas, chess players, chefs, musicians, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you don't study their craft. You don't study the art of the artist when you study success. You look at the person and their backstory. What did they do to become successful? I am not in any way qualified to critique art. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I'm just not qualified. But I am qualified to examine a life story. My PhD is in history, after all. And that's how one gets a PhD, by studying a lot of stories and putting them together. So I have one story to tell you tonight, or this afternoon. And that is about an artist that the students studied. A man by the name of Chihuly. Is that naming a bell from the students?
Yeah.
Right. What did he use for his art? Do you remember? Anybody? Any of the students remember what he used?
Glass.
Glass. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, glass. Now, Chihuly's life is representative of all the successful people that we've studied. Successful people share common traits and habits. They're outlined on a handout. If you studied 100 successful people, you're going to find very common themes of their lives. And so we're going to take a look at 5 quick lessons of Chihuly's path to success. And you're to ask yourself how often you practice each of those traits and habits that Chihuly practiced. So the very first trait and habit of success that he practiced very often is setting goals. And this is a speech to the students as well as the adults in the room too. I do this all the time, this speech. And it's really important to ask yourself, how often do I set goals? Well, Dale's upbringing was very much like our own. He was born in 1941. That makes him 70 years old today. He went to a public high school, graduated high school at 18 years of age, just like most people do here. And then he went to a college for 1 year, didn't like it, and then had to transfer to go to another college. And it was at that second college that he discovered design and art and glass. And so it took him 6 years, but he graduated college. So that was his first goal that he achieved for himself. But he had it in mind, I want to graduate college, and he did it. But then he set another goal. And as often is the case with successful people, they keep setting goals. They just don't reach one goal and stop living, they keep setting goals. So from 1965 to 1971, his next goal was to get a master's degree. And he studied in Europe and the United States, and he learned how to blow glass, the ancient art of glass blowing. So during this time, he demonstrated another trait and habit of successful people, and that is he rebounded from failure. I'm sure if I asked the people in this room how many times you failed, most people would say, yeah, I failed plenty of times. I know I did. But can you rebound from that failure? We're doing this 65 to 71 period. Chihuly is trying to learn the art of glass blowing, and he's making a lot of mistakes. But he doesn't quit. He keeps going. And in 1971, he finishes his master's degree. Then he says, okay, now what do I do? And in his next goal for life, he wanted to open up a school to teach students, your age, how to blow glass. But he had no money. So he demonstrated a third trait and habit of successful people. He got comfortable being uncomfortable. Everybody that has ever achieved any level of success has been uncomfortable. And if you think it's comfortable standing up in front of all of you, you've got another thing coming. But I'm very comfortable being in front of strangers. Not that you're strange people, maybe some of you are, but you know what I'm talking about. Some people laughed at that, so I know that you're paying attention. That's good. So he said, all right, I have no money. I want to open up a summer school to teach children how to blow glass. So he said, I've got to go ask people for money. And he found an investor. So he was very uncomfortable doing that, but he got comfortable doing it enough so that he got enough money and he opened up his glass school. So in the early part of his career, he's already demonstrated 3 traits and habits of successful people. He set goals, he achieved them, then he set new goals, he rebounded from failure, and then he was comfortable being uncomfortable. But in 1976, his world would forever change. While driving through the streets of London, he was involved in a terrible car accident and was thrown through the windshield of the car. Glass penetrated his left eye and left him permanently blind. If you see pictures of Dale Chihuly today, he's wearing an eye patch. Now, the adults in the room will understand what I'm about to say. Some of the children might, but it's a difficult concept. The great irony in that story is that the very element that allowed him to express his vision of art to the world took his sight. Glass took his sight. But yet the man has made the world all over know glass in a way that no other human has ever known glass, which to me is a fascinating component of the story. But the 4th trait and habit that he demonstrated at that very moment, lying in the hospital, wasn't, why me, God? Why, really, God, thanks for doing this to me. I am an artist and now I can't practice my art anymore. But instead of saying that, he said, which successful people do, he asked himself an empowering question. He said, what's life trying to teach me? At this very moment, while I'm blind and can no longer practice the craft, because the very element that I use just blinded me, what's life trying to teach me? And that led to the 5th trait and habit that he demonstrated all throughout his life, and that is collaboration. He said, all right, so I'm blind and I can't practice it, but guess what? I can draw, and I can teach people how to make glass based on my drawing. So the 5th trait and habit that he demonstrated ever since that day in 1976 is collaboration. When he makes glass now, he hires a team of people. He paints and he says, we're going to make this together. And for the past 30 years, the world has seen a man with one eye collaborate with a team of experts to succeed using glass no other person has ever done. So I ask all of you to take a look at the traits and habits on the paper. And every day you're to ask yourself, especially the students as you start a new school year, you travel down that path every day of your life. Not every minute of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year. You're traveling down your path. And ask yourself, how often do I practice these traits? That's how you can become successful. There's no shortcut. There's no blaming others. There's no blaming of circumstances. Nothing is in your way to be successful. All of you are already successful. You went through this program. It was a pretty tough, challenging program. You had to listen to that terribly old music. So let's face it, there were some challenges you had to put up with. Where are you? I love you. I love that music. I love them. I'm just picking on you. You're already successful in life. Now the next question is, how much more success do you want to achieve? That's up to you as you travel down your path and practice the traits and habits of successful people. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.